Hey guys, it's Chad at Whizbang Racing. I was going to go over our engine build we did in 2023. Early in 2023, we dropped a valve in our 351 Windsor and it broke a piston, punched a hole in the head, and caused a lot of damage. So I'd always wanted to start a new engine build, and this was the unfortunate motivator that pushed me over the edge. I'm going to go over the parts we used to build this engine. Was a World Products Man of War block with 9.5 deck and bored out to 4 1/8. For our crank, we used a Scat small block Ford crank, 2 3/4 mains, 4-1 stroke. For our rods, we had Eagle Specialty H-beam 4340 rods. We were running Molly Power Pack pistons and rings. We used a custom Bullet Racing cams camshaft. We used Cometic MLS gaskets. We used Morel solid roller lifters, and we topped it off with AFR 220cc competition race heads. And to begin with, we used a Edelbrock's Victor Jr. intake, and we are now upgraded to a Super Victor intake. So we took the Block 2 Eagle machine to get it machined to final specs. We also had them balance our rotating assembly. We did build this engine right next to the pool table, so it was nicknamed the 2-ball. We ground our rings to size to make sure we would crack a piston with too much nitrous. It was slightly methodical, but we made it through it. We got the crank installed. Then we checked our pistons and rods, make sure we'd have clearance. We ended up needing to go in and machine a little bit of clearance for the rotating assembly. We got the pistons all set in, and everything worked great. Then we installed the camshaft. Luckily, we did not have any clearance issues there. The cam eccentric was only drilled for one hole, but we discovered that we could fit a second one in there, so I took it to work and one of the guys kindly machined it for me. So we were able to fit both dowels in there. We got the cam finally installed. We put the heads on there and torqued to spec. Then we had to clean out our old oil pan. Once we installed it, we did run into a few more clearance issues for the crank. So we had to take the torch and hammer and beat on the oil pan a little bit for the final bit of clearance. Pool table ended up being a mess by the time we were done, covered in parts. Then we went to retrieve the car from my house. We also rebuilt the transmission. It was a Ford C4 with a manual valve body. We started placing the engine and trans back in the car. We also went to Hooker Super Comp 1 3/4 inch engine swap headers, and they were still too small, so we had to weld up and fill the inner bolt hole pattern on the flanges. Then we checked our firing order for the 5th time, and finally the car started. Is it really a Ford if the belt doesn't squeal?
Not bad.
Earlier this year, we were able to finally take the car to a dyno and dyno the new engine. It performed great. engine has got the 3,500 pound car and driver to a 949 PB. We're very happy with it.
Yep, that was cool.
That was really cool. Honestly, the electric car guy pulling that out of junkyard parts and camping in it is cool.
Chad Garut, Jake Youngblood. Garut goes down the racetrack, 949, 141.87. Youngblood.